What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? It is Matty P here with Marky D with a midweek episode of Steelers Touch Down Under. Marky D, how you going on your Thursday? It's my lunch break. How you doing?
What? It's Thursday? Nah, I'm going good, man. I'm going all right. We've got some big news, though, in Steeler land, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm just still perplexed about a few things with this Mason Rudolph.
I thought you were saying the big news was isn't Antonio Brown going to start playing football for his arena football team? Is that thing?
Is that coming out? Did he say that?
I don't know. I saw that on Instagram this morning. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I had a busy week, so like I saw the Mason Rudolph stuff. I think people have overreacted, underreacted, medium reacted. I mean, we kind of talked about that a few weeks ago was likely to happen. I think the breaking news overnight, or I saw it just as I was going to bed, it was up pretty late, was Akello Witherspoon being cut. I mean, I said, I've been saying that to you for months that Akello Witherspoon would be cut because it made sense with the salary cap, right? I think it saved, I haven't looked it up since he's been cut, but off the top of my head, I know he was on a $3.5 million deal, and I think it saved about 2.4 when I did the numbers last year. And I bring up over the cap, but it crashes, the internet when we share the screen on this thing. So through StreamYard. But yeah, I mean, that's no surprise. Obviously, they cut Morlett. We talked about that. So I'll bring up the depth chart in a second. But then they signed Hakeem Butler, which they talked about signing him. It seems like it's just the paperwork. I know that they've done the contracts now for Broderick Jones, Darnell Washington, Corey Trice, Spencer Anderson. So I think almost all, if not every draft pick has been signed. Might just be.
And they got another bloke too from the XFL, Luke Barku. So a chance, similar to Washington. We don't know if he's going to make the team, but still have a chance. Yeah. And there's another bloke that Darnell Wren got injured. Don't know how he got injured, but he's on the reserve. He was going to make team anyway. But another bloke
we cut him. We had him in the original roster, so I'll pull that up. We can show that.
And another bloke came in for his spot. Someone manning another guard or something. So they're making moves.
And then we also had the Manny Jones that was brought in defensive.
Yeah, that's the bloke. That's the bloke. He's coming in.
He was claimed off waivers from Arizona. Yeah. But I mean, we had Wren back in there originally but by the time you got to the 5th of May, we didn't even have him on the possible 53. So we'll get to that. I'm just gonna play with the. Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, but all these moves are things that normally happen anyway. I think what I've noticed, and actually by doing more content pretty much every day on Steel Oz or here on TDU, is you're focusing on it more. But there are fans out there that won't come back till September and go, okay, we got that guy. You know what I mean? I think the Mason Rudolph stuff is overblown. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's pro or con. The fact is, he's going to be QB3. They got him at a good deal, and then you move on. So it's just crazy.
Did you see money come out for that yet? I haven't seen money.
I've only seen 1 year deal that I've heard. I can try and check that Steelers.com, but it's 1 year deal. So obviously they're going to use him at. I think they're going to use him at QB3. I don't think there will be too much of a competition. Do you think there'll be competition there or not for QB2?
Look, and I was hoping to get out a video at the time, but obviously you jumped on the hype. I think. I wanted, when I saw it, but I didn't get a chance to. With Mitch Trubisky, I think he'll be gone before the bye. Unless something happens to Kenny Pickett. They're comfortable with Rudolph, and I don't think you lose anything, by moving Trubisky, but they're in the prime position. They don't have to move him. They can move him. That's what I like about it. You got options. Mason Rudolph knows the offense. I think, I don't know, with the way the offense is going, I kind of trust Mason Rudolph more than I do Trubisky. Trubisky's interceptions, what I can understand is there's people out there that hate Mason Rudolph, right? I mean, they're like, Tomlin said, just don't kill us. Trubisky killed us in games last year.
He did.
And it's like the narrative, and I will be getting a Kenny Pickett video out on the channel in the next sort of 24 to 48 hours. It's like the narrative around Kenny Pickett had 12 starts and he had the 7 TDs and the 9 interceptions. It's like, he started the Ravens game and didn't even finish the first quarter. Or certainly didn't finish the first half, right? So, it's more like 11 starts, and he had 3 rushing TDs. So it's more like 11 games, 10 TDs, 9 interceptions, which is actually really good for a rookie in this league. But anyway, we'll save that for that other show. But look, at the end of the day, like it, hate it, feel indifferent about it. At the end of the day, it's depth, and it's
exactly. It doesn't matter.
Mason Rudolph as a number 3 is a lot better than. Would you rather Malik Willis? Would you rather Malik Willis? Would you rather who else would you? I mean, I wouldn't have mind them having a look at Nick Foles, but number 3 right now in San Francisco is Sam Darnold. He's a proven non-commodity. Mason Rudolph knows the offense. It's stability. He did win them some games with what I think was a much worse roster in 2019. He certainly didn't have a Najee Harris at running back. He didn't have the tight ends that they've got. He didn't have the line that they've got. Like, honestly, like, I mean, he's probably the 3rd guy on the list right now. But you know what? If he's the 3rd guy and they make this a battle, like, it's obviously Kenny Pickett's, QB1. But if they make it a battle for QB2, that is only going to be good for the Steelers.
100%. 100%. He might get the job. The thing I came back to, and I made a video about it, is why is Steeler Nation arguing about QB3?
They want Duck back, mate.
I've never seen anyone argue about QB3.
Duck's busy with Laney. Like, let Duck go. Duck's with Laney, okay?
I'm just saying, why argue about QB3? It doesn't make any sense. He's on the team. He's going to throw the football. He'll have a chance to make the team. That's it. That's it.
So for those of you that are new or listening to this on replay, whatever, the blue guys, the guys from the last time we looked at the depth chart that we thought would make the practice squad. Got a couple of guys there in red with a spoon and Millette who we just talked about. So I'm going to remove them off the sheet, basically, off the depth chart. Now, obviously, you've got Sullivan in there who now basically becomes your lead slot corner, along with probably Kazi. Peterson can play there if they want to. I think they could really probably put Wallace there. Norwood can have a look there. Riley as well. Riley's sort of a tall corner or a free safety. So there's a bit of, they've definitely got depth at cornerback. They've got more than enough cornerbacks on the roster right now, for sure. I do think James Pierre with these moves, he's, as much as I dislike him, or I don't think he's more than a practice squad player, I do think he's probably solidified his spot a little bit more, given himself, his chances of making the roster have gone up.
Yeah, he's going to be on teams as well, right? So he'll probably be teams and maybe a 4th cornerback. You know what I'm saying? So I actually, if we start with the cornerbacks, that's not a very bad list because Witherspoon, obviously, we talked about him being gone before. Peterson, Wallace, Porter's going to be in there somehow. Sullivan in there as slot cornerback, and then Trice and Pierre. That's not a bad list at all. Like for guys that are trying to be up and coming, and here we go. So Peterson's going to start, Wallace going to be the second guy, and then Porter's going to feed in there too. So
I think they're only going to carry 5 actual corners on the roster, and I think it's Peterson, Wallace, Porter, Sullivan, and then a battle between Trice Jr. and James Pierre. But I could see them going Trice. I think that they want to. Pierre's a known commodity. No one else wanted him. They brought him back on a minimum. You can put him on a practice squad as one. But
whoever gets that position right, they have to play teams, don't they? For sure, right?
Yeah, but can you imagine if they can get Trice? I don't know Trice inside out enough yet. I've still got to do that study over the next couple of weeks. But because I want to do a bit of a breakdown on him. But he is 6'3" and he is 215 pounds, man. Yeah. So if Boykin can do it, Trice can do it. You'd think, or at least has the athleticism on the you'd think to be able to do it.
Okay, I've got another point about that then. So if they're bringing a guy like that, are they trying to say to James Pierre or people in that position, hey man, we're not mucking around to this year. You got to earn your spot.
Correct.
So if Trice performs Pierre, then everyone wins. Except Pierre.
Which is how I'd like it to go. I want to bring up linebackers because there's been a bit of talk about that with Kyle Van Noy. There's also been a little bit of talk about Quan Alexander coming in for a visit with the Steelers. They do probably need someone in there from a coverage perspective. So I don't mind it. I think Quan Alexander's would give you depth on the outside as well, but we've kind of got that in Herbig playing inside outside. I just think they need a better coverage linebacker. But you do have Keanu Neal who can come down into the box as well. So, and Peterson's a bigger cornerback that you could put in a deep safety role if you wanted to on a particular type of scheme or coverage system. The draft dudes did which are now I think they call them the draft scouting. They've got some name like that in draft and team building scouting name on Locked On. They've moved across from the draft network, the draft dudes. Moved on to Locked On. They did an interesting podcast on the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. You can get that on Spotify. And they talked about the fact that they felt, and not all their takes are great when it comes to the Steelers, particularly because both of the guys support teams in the AFC East. But they talked about the fact that a lot of the Steelers players that they brought in are actually really good in. And you should remember that Kyle Krabs, one of the draft dudes, he's a Miami supporter, so he talked a lot about Landon Roberts and the Steelers being one of the few fits for Landon Roberts. But they talked about the fact the Steelers are kind of lining up to play a lot of cover 3 and being able to cloud receivers as well in cover 3. Which I think is helpful in a passing league and considering the division, particularly with Burrow and Watson. But yeah, Mark, going back to my initial question, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about that linebacker position? Do you think they still need to bring someone covering, or if they start the season with this, would you be all right?
Can I give you a real honest answer?
Yeah.
Like from what I'm seeing as a fan here in Australia so far away, can I see minicamp first? Can I see training camp first?
100%. 100%.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we got the blokes with Roberts and we got the blokes with Holcomb. Can I see them in uniform and see them run around and, work off the ball, backs versus backers? Can I see them in interviews, their confidence, that kind of stuff? I really want to see them play like that before I have any judgment, before I go back to the highlight and say, well, this guy does that, this guy's doing this. And I also think the Steelers, where, in a perfect world, you're not just going to have the 3-4 system or all the time, right? These guys are going to be interchangeable all the time.
Well, 100%. The Steelers, I don't think the Steelers played more than like 28% of the snaps last year in base at 3-4. So
yeah. So like you said, you'll bring in Neil play certain positions. You've seen TJ Watt line up at linebacker sometimes. You'll see all these different things happening on the field, and it'll be that fast we won't even know what's going on. But like all these different defensive schemes. But to say, like, am I happy with the middle linebacker position? To be very honest, I want to see some footage from minicamp, training camp, and then I can start to get a good feeling, and maybe because it's May, right? But a good feeling of that direction. But for them, I just like, all I like so far is Devin Bush is gone, Spillane's out of there. He was okay, but you're going to have guys that I think can tackle. And we see that in the highlights from Holcomb. Wears a C on his chest. Same with Roberts too. They can tackle. They're physical blokes. But now, can they cover? Well, we'll see. But I think we'll start to see how this 53 is going to change 110%. And also the development too of Mark Robinson. I've got to, because he's a round 7 guy, I cheer for the underdog. I want to see him do well. Yeah. If he can be in the rotation. But I feel like whoever they do start week 1, it's going to be this offseason. I think what the organization is doing is like saying to everyone, hey, come in, let's compete. Let's get the best players we can get on the field. Go out there and compete, and whoever wins the job, who is the best player for that position, not just going with the Devin Bush because we had him at the highest draftee, right? And yeah, I just think
I love that take, Mark, because that's it. I mean, if you look at people that are listening live right now, or not listening to the audio of this, you're watching it visually on YouTube. Like, this was the roster. I mean, and yeah, you've seen our graphics develop a little bit as well. But
when was that?
This
March.
Is the roster at the 20th of March. Right? We're doing this show before the 20th of May local time. So it's like 17th of May in the US. That's the roster, right? I'm talking names like not having a starting DT. It's Montravius Adams. I'm talking about Peterson, Wallace, Witherspoon, and Mollett as the only 4 likely starting cornerbacks on the roster, I should say. Like, we're talking no Herbig there. We're talking like no Broderick Jones. We're talking about no Robinson as well. Like, this is like Allen Robinson. That's what his first name escaped me for a second. Like, this team is developing quickly when we look at it. You know what I did like?
Good graph. Love that. I love the comparison. What's
this
that?
bloke, the addition of this bloke, Graham, the running back out of
what's going on with him?
Guys. Yeah, man, he's quick, man.
From San Diego State, is that correct? Was that wrong? No, I don't know where he's from. Did I just make that up?
No,
maybe
I don't think he's from San Diego State. Is it Graham?
Sign Graham from Alfonso Graham. Wait, Morgan State. My bad. I got him confused.
Morgan State. Yeah, San Diego State's with Marte Mapu, who I wanted them to get in the draft, and then he went to the Patriots.
You know what we need to do, and not to copy too many ideas, but didn't like BTSC have like a Camp Darling? We got to figure out a name for Australian version of that. For a guy we're looking who's going to be.
It's easy, mate. It's the training camp bloke of the year. The bloke of training camp.
This is a good bloke.
He's a bloke, dude. A dude.
Yeah, because that's why I find this whole process.
Jordan Bird. They're talking about Bird.
Yeah, my bad. He's from San Diego State.
And he's not on here. I think he could make the practice squad. He's not on here, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Alfonso besides the awesome first name?
I like the speed that I saw. I want to watch a bit more tape, but he's something different on this list when you look at it. And I feel like McFarlane's a slightly bigger back, but McFarlane either trips over his own feet when he's healthy or is in the sick bay in the physio ward all the time.
Do they have sick bays in America?
Maybe hospital ward. I don't know, that ER, whatever you want to call it. That's where he spends most of his time. But I like what Christopher brings up in the live chat. Like all the new pace on defense, can we expect a better approach to get back to the top 10? Seems like they want to stuff the run and hope they don't get time to pass. Agree. Like, I mean, I think we talked about it on the show we did on Monday with some statistical projections via over and unders, and like keeping teams to 20 points, but being able to score 23 or 24 points is going to be a big difference. They only allowed teams to score more than 23 points. Off the top of my head, I think it was like 6-7 games last year out of the 17. That's a big deal. And like this defense has gotten better for me.
Yeah, if they can stop the run, I think take away that one thing, and then you had dead set the pass rushes with Highsmith and TJ Watt are going to be fantastic. So take away one element, and I think we got carved up. Is 2 years in a row they were allowing 100+ yards a game, and through the middle point, and they did. Devin Bush, they didn't want to tackle. Nobody wanted to tackle. So hopefully they can start tackling now, and that's why they brought in Holcomb and Roberts there too. But like I said, I want to see them in uniform at least. But it's coming soon, man. It's coming quick.
I mean, the only area which I banged on about every time we've looked at our charts, which is fun to do. I can't wait to see this chart we do right before the season starts after all the cuts and like where we're sitting. Is strong safety. I still believe that that's an underrated position in the NFL, particularly in the AFC and particularly the AFC North, given the I was about to say TDU family because Steeler Out West put TDU in the live chat. But I was going to say, given the tight ends that exist in the AFC, as well. But and the draft dudes did talk about this a lot. We've talked about this for all off season. I think you're going to see Minka come up a lot more than what you did before. Now, obviously, we don't want him to have to make 100+ tackles like he did in 2021. But Minka's going to get a bit more of a free roam Polamalu type role, I reckon.
I got a question for you. How do you think Minka and my new friend Patrick Peterson? Have you heard about the tweet that he sent me back?
I did. We talked.
I keep bringing it up because
you're trying to get a mileage out of that one, mate.
But my question was, how do you feel about Minka and Peterson working together? Like that tandem?
There's some serious brains working together on that one, man. Yeah, man.
So I think like if I look at the defense right in one total package, I think Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Peterson, Minka, and then everyone else can kind of feed in and see what happens. But those are the brains, like you said, on defense right now.
Don't sleep on Benton. Is going to surprise people, man. Benton's going to be a beast.
Oh, I mean, just like the vet leadership.
No, I know. Yeah. The big names on that for sure. But Highsmith, you could argue Highsmith is in there, man. Getting 10+ sacks in this league is no mean feat. You can't sleep on that.
He's definitely up there. So you think that Peterson and Minka will work together, or try and really lock down the secondary and not get too, we get busted open for 3rd and 15s all the time. I don't see it this year.
I do think this puts, obviously anyone that's a long time listener of our show or been listening to us through the draft and stuff would know that I didn't want Porter in round 1. I think he's tremendous value in round 2. I still think there's some development to be had. That being said, with Terrell Austin, who is a good secondary coach, they got Grady Brown as well. Then you've also got guys like Peterson, Fitzpatrick, Levi Wallace. There's nothing to shirk at. Even Kazi and his experience. Porter's being set up for some success there. And you got Mike Tomlin, who's obviously started out as a defensive backs coach. Well, he started off as a wide receivers coach, but made his name as being a defensive backs coach. So, like, I do like, as what you said, Mark, the way this is shaping up. And particularly because most of the offseason we've been talking about the offense and like the line and the wide receivers and getting depth at tight end. And now you're seeing the defense get those extra pieces in here, and I do like it.
You think Peterson was brought in for that reason, for that real vet leadership?
Yeah. He and Allen Robinson are very strategic hires, and they came very close together, right? Think about it. Both in playmaking positions on either the offense or the defense. And you look at this roster, right? Like, I'm now just, I'm going to not look at your face for a second. I'm going to go into the window. But look at all these names. Look at all these names on this list, right? The oldest player here is Isaac Siamalu, and he, I think, is like 29, maybe. Then you've obviously got Robinson, right? But I'm just looking at it like as you go across the page, right? So that's all the different starters that we had there. Then you look at across this page again. None of these guys, like I think Trubisky's the oldest guy on this, and most guys have under 3 years experience in the league. You look across the whole offense, I think Robinson's the oldest. Then
I think you might be.
Then Siamalu, Mason Cole. Like, oh yeah, that's pretty much the offense is, I think, all under. If you take out 2 or 3 guys, everyone's under 26, I think it is. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think Robinson's like 30 or something, isn't he?
Yeah. So 31. He might be 31 when the season starts. Now, the defense obviously is a bit older, but you kind of want that experience on the defense. I just love the freshness that's in this roster. But going back to the point we were making, like, you needed an older head there in the playmaking room, in the tight end and the wide receiver room, and that's what they've got. Now, obviously, Najee plays like a vet, so that's a bit of a different thing. But on the defensive side, obviously, you do have Cam Hayward, you do have Minka Fitzpatrick and Peterson. They're 3 hard heads that you can really structure that defense around.
Yeah, but even I need to look into more that Sullivan bloke too. Have you looked into him too much? Because he played with Peterson last year at the Vikings. They played together. So
that's a really good point. And he was a good connection corner. Yeah, man.
So you got Peterson, Minka, and him playing together.
100. RB Barley brings up, and always a good commenter, and I know you hit me back on one of the other ones. I got to hit you back on that too. But serious question, boys, with SF being week 1 and potential Bosa matchup, and there are serious chances they hold B Jones off for a week. Yeah, I think we covered that on one of the shows we did with the schedule, or we did earlier in the week. But yeah, definitely. That was something we talked about, whether, especially with Dan Moore doing well against Myles Garrett, whether you hold Broderick Jones back to at least the first home game, but you maybe hold him back 3 or 4 weeks, but he'll definitely be there by the bye. I can't imagine.
Yeah, don't be shocked if Dan Moore does start, but I'm not going to be surprised if Dan Moore starts or whatever, but I think we'll see. Also got to see what happens in camp. But you don't want to put him out there straight away and he gets burnt, and then everyone's like, "Oh no, he's a bust," you know. So, but the best
Cameron Hayward was a bust, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I kind of see that what the Steelers might do is use Dan Moore and then change, maybe like you said, after the bye, possibly bring in Jones. But still, he needs to be ready, like you got to be ready to play.
Correct.
So. And there's no problem starting Dan Moore and having someone sit there behind him and learn and see how it flows from that position. But there's a lot of pressure too, just by putting in a rookie. We saw what happened with Kendrick Green at center.
I think he's like, there's guys on the team that are bigger from a height perspective, right? And even weight perspective. But he's a big guy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, even though he's only 6'4", like he's a big unit. He's got this imposing presence about him already. But yeah, it's a good point. It's a totally good point, RB Barley. Dante joined the chat a while back. Yeah. He talked about Hakeem Butler. We kind of talked about him a little bit. Obviously,
I'm surprised you got him on the list. So you've got him on the 53. You reckon he's going to make it?
Well, I think he's on the practice squad. I added him because he's a name over the last 48 hours. I don't know. I think he had a chance to do things. If he properly converted to tight end, then I think he goes on the practice squad as a pass catching tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's pretty tall receiver. I think it's going to be fighting out for him and maybe Miller at like the fifth spot, But same time, we've still got to see what Austin does too,
The thing about it though, Miller is one of the true slot receivers on this roster, and I think that makes a big difference. I also think you don't discount Boykin. Like, Boykin's a big, and if Boykin plays special teams, if Hakeem Butler wants to play wide receiver, they're going to have to figure out whether he can play special teams, and I'm not sure he's got the pace to be that gunner. But yeah, and Barley brings it up, that TE experience. But we've also got to remember, like, we've got Washington, Freemuth, Gentry, and Connor Haywood, right? if they were to bring back Derek Watt, there's not a spot for him. So
yeah, it's true.
But I love the battles. Like, and who said? I think it was earlier. Someone in the live chat said, Christopher. Yeah, welcome, Christopher. And he said, and yeah, show up or ship out.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Exactly right. No matter our favorites, it doesn't matter. Whoever makes it, and then it's going to be the best man wins. And I feel like it's a real good example this year of that case. Maybe not so much the last few years. The best man wins.
So yeah, Dante brings up Cody White. Yeah, we've talked about him before. Obviously, his dad, Sheldon White's in the Steelers front office. The guys that are in blue on this list were from last time. I didn't get a chance to update it. But these are guys that were additions when we did the roster on the 5th of May that we could see definitely slotting there in the practice squad. But I can't just label everyone as blue that I don't think is going to make 53. But yeah, it is sort of an interesting development that's sort of coming through. The other thing as well, when we talk about like wing spots and that counter offense and all this sort of stuff, they've got to see Darnell Washington in action to work out how much of it is an athletic guy at 6'7", and how much of it is he's just an athletic guy that's like a wide receiver and offensive lineman merged into one, like this, Captain Planet, like, tight end that can do a bit of everything. You don't know. So
I got a question for you. What's your, when we watch the preseason games, who are you most looking forward to playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers on offense and in defense? What player?
Good question.
Yeah. They don't have to make the team. It's the guy you're like, oh,
I don't want to see the development of Pickens. I want to see his route development. It's got to be Calvin Austin because I've been waiting for it for a year. It's hard not to say Darnell Washington, but I
was going to say Darnell.
I didn't want to say Carnell Austin. I want to say Calvin Austin. Defense, I think Herbig will surprise people. I do really want to see probably Holcomb from a more veteran perspective, but Benton and Trice from a rookie perspective.
Yeah, I was gonna say Trice as well, just to see him run around town because they're gonna play him over they're not gonna play.
You're gonna see more of Trice, but Benton, I just want to see how he's starting to fit within the Steelers stunts. I mean, we talk about our old employers in and our network with BTSC and Steel Curtain Network. I can't wait for Jeffrey Benedict to start looking at the analysis on Keanu Benton on the line, right? I think I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I did. I saw them at the training at the little sports camp that Pat Freemuth ran with Alfonso Roberts, and Pat Freemuth's 6'5", right? Washington's like this difference. Obviously, on the audio side, you can't see us do the hand differences. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Dante brought up a question as well, and Mark, I think same for you.
Who's your favorite Steel of all time?
Currently, all time currently, and who do you think is favorite Steel of all time? Probably Polamalu. That's a really hard one. Like by the time their career finishes, like could well be TJ for me. The current player, probably TJ or Cam. Cam probably over TJ, but when Cam goes, it'll be TJ. I love all time. I did love Bettis as well. Breakout star. I think it'll be Kenny. I think Kenny's going to break out better than what a lot of people think. I know it's going to rev up a particular gentleman in the live chat. But it'll be Kenny or Pickens. Pickens and Pickens from more of a perspective of not just this guy can make cool catches and combat catches. This guy can run routes. This guy can score TDs. There was an analysis that Ben did on a podcast with Pouncey, and they looked at a throw in the end zone. I'm trying to remember, might have been against the Bills. But anyway, Ben was like, great throw from Pickett. Pickens should have gone in with two hands. He went in with one and he juggled the ball and he didn't get it. So yeah, I think Pickens will fix that stuff up. I also love watching Connor Hayward. I think he could have a breakout.
Yeah, he's fun, man. Too. He's a fun dude.
But what about you, Mark? Like, what's your favorite all time currently? Obviously, it's going to be Buzz Nutter, Dick Shiner, and Christian Kuntz.
None of those cheeky words. No, my all time is Debo Harrison, 100%. It just you can't beat Debo. A guy that can tackle the ground.
Farrier?
No, I love Devo, dude. He's so good. It just the way they tackled the Browns fan and like went, hey, yeah, like just everything he did as a player was fantastic. He's my all-time
Do you know we
favorite.
do our favorites across all the positions?
Yeah, because this is the point with the next point. Currently, you bagged me out because I said I couldn't buy a jersey because I didn't like the team. You said I didn't like any of the players. And I hated the team because I couldn't find a reason to buy a current jersey. So you must be a big fan. Must be a fake Aussie, which I've been getting quite recently too. So currently, it is hard for me. See, I get stuck. I have to go Patrick Peterson because we're mates. So I'm getting, and he's also going to be my breakout player.
Yeah. I mean, Dante, yeah, you're right. I mean, Broderick Jones could be there. I think that the way you're going to have to judge that, though, is really how many sacks and quarterback hits he allows. But the quarterback hits is a little bit subjective sometimes.
Yeah, he's gonna be good. He'll be good when he gets in there for sure.
I like what RB says, where Trice is outside starting next to JPJ by week 7, and that could be the way it goes. But I wouldn't rule out Levi Wallace as a bit of a weapon throughout the cornerback room inside and out. I want to see Levi come inside, to be honest. I think he can do a little bit there, and then you can leave.
Is he the forgotten cornerback? We never really talk about Wallace that much.
Yeah, and he looked good in and out of his injuries last year. He got, I think it was like week 4 to week 6. He looked pretty good. I'm just trying to remember when he got a couple of those interceptions.
I never see any articles, any news around Wallace. Maybe that's a good thing. I never see anything. Nothing on the internet about Levi Wallace. Nothing.
It is a good thing, I think. Big time.
Just a silent assassin.
But I keep seeing, what I hate is people in the NFL. I mean, the draft dudes did as well. Love the draft dudes, but they did it too. Like, I'm not using their new name, but people saying, and we ranted about this. I think I ranted about this on the 5th 2 weeks ago when we guys did this. Kazi is not a strong safety. Kazi is like 5'10" and like 170 something pounds. He's not a strong safety in this league. He's a free safety, deep safety, slot corner.
He's one of my favorites. Safety.
I'm sick of people saying he's going to play safety for the Steelers, like near the box. He's not.
Yeah, I think Kazi's cool. I like the way he plays too.
I like it. I just don't want him to be called strong safety. And I would say I've got the receipt. He signed obviously with the Steelers last year in free agency. I suggested they should sign him back in January last year. So 4 months.
Your wallet's full of receipts.
I know. Oh, actually, going back to breakout, I know I said Pickens and I said Pickett and I could name everyone on the bloody list.
Yeah.
I think the whole team is keen for a breakout. But Freiermuth, I think Freiermuth could break 1,000 yards this year.
You reckon he's ready for one? You reckon he's ready to take the team to the next level?
Or even if he gets 800 or 900, I think he's going to be a much better red zone target. I think some of the other people are going to be spread the defense. I think Pat Freiermuth is going to go off. He is going to cement his spot as a top 3 tight end in this league.
Wait, what about Najee Harris running, like making a big dash for 40 yards? And he's not a speedster, but do you see him breaking out in the game, like a breakout run?
If he can break the first tackle, then yeah, 100%.
I think Warren's going to play real good. Warren is maybe one of the most underrated Steelers, but Steeler Nation knows he's good, but the NFL doesn't know he's good.
But they're starting to talk about him. It's interesting. Yep. They're starting to talk about him.
Was he on the NFL page the other day talking about how underrated he is? I think I saw something.
Yeah, and the draft dude guys that he was brought up, they were like, they love him. They were like, the fact that the Steelers got him undrafted is
But we've known this from what we saw last year in his progression running the football. With Steeler Nation knows how good Warren is.
That's why I think there's some names on this roster that they're starting to bring in, and you just never know, right? Like you just never know. So yeah. Well, Mark, just before we wrap it up, anything else that you wanted to cover off?
I just want to say Potty Balm because we didn't say that name in the whole show. So Potty Balm. That's all. I think that's the one we.
Did you hear that he said he's not going to cut his hair for his
NFL career? Whole NFL career.
I didn't like that. I was like, mate, you're putting the jinx on yourself without having a long career. You said breakout year for Ogunjobi. I forgot about over and under for him on Monday. Do you think over and under RB and anyone else in the live chat 7 sacks over under? What do you reckon? Let us know.
How did I forget about Ogunjobi? Wow. Yeah, he's going to be up there for sure.
Yeah, he'll be.
He's a Steeler now too. He's going to have the most years, I think, with the Steelers with a 3-year contract. I think the other ones he was 2 and 2. I think. Let me check. Because he was with the Browns and Bengals, was he not?
Yeah, but didn't he play for someone else as well? He had 1 year at He had 1 year somewhere else as well. Over.
Nah, he's only played, from what I see here, he's only played for Cleveland for 4 years and 1 year for Cincinnati.
Yeah, there you go.
And he'll play with the Steelers for 3. So he wore 65 with both the higher teams.
He's a good player,
and he had 48 tackles last year. Ogunjobi. 25 solids, 7 tackles for a loss, and 11 QB hits. One of his best years, actually, in all of his career. And that's why
I'm getting higher on Fioko as well. I think Loudermilk will be on the practice squad. I think they'll cut Montravius Adams. Armand Watts will be a depth piece. If Benton doesn't take them by storm, I think Benton's going to be a monster. I mean, the absolute monster.
That was Ogunjobi's 3rd highest, I think, tackle count, or 48, 49, 50, or whatever, in his 6-year career with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man.
So
it's pretty high.
Yeah, he's going to be a bloke too. He's going to be a good bloke.
And he was coming off an injury too. Remember?
Yeah. So I like that.
You want hard nuts. You want hard nut veterans. That's so Aussie, eh?
Can we say that? I think we're allowed to say that. He's got hard nuts.
Tough nut. A tough nut. It's like a tough nut to crack. What's wrong with that, man?
There's some things we can't say on the internet. Tough nut. I don't think Americans say tough nut. That's great.
Don't they?
So what do we want? I really think we should get a lot of Camp Darling, because someone else does that. But you know what I'm saying? What do we call him? Bloke of the week, or bloke. I don't know. We'll find something. Or tough nut. Let the live chat decide.
What about the training camp True Blue?
True Blue. I like that. I like that already. True Blue.
The training camp cool. True Blue. That's what we should call him.
Yeah, okay, that will do. That's cool. Because I reckon there's going to be some stars there, man. We're going to watch and go, oh,
I know the Steelers' colours aren't blue. If you Google True Blue, you'll know what we're talking about. Aussie slang.
True Blue.
Yeah, we sing the song. Yeah. I think that's what we should call him.
True Blue. Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. Because those guys are the fun ones to watch. They do all the hard work. You're thinking, can they make the team? Can they get the team?
You know who it's going to be. You know the favourite's going to be up front, and then they're going to be put on the practice squad week 1. It'll be Monty Potterbomb.
Yeah, true. He's going to knock someone over in preseason, knock them out of their socks, and then we'll love him.
Yeah, man. But I think people are sleeping on Austin as well. It's hard ass. Yeah, but tough nut. I like tough nut. Yeah. First time I ever heard someone described as a tough nut is when they ran through someone and had a head clash and kept running because the other guy was knocked out on the ground.
What, in rugby?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Head clash, boom. And then the guy that went to tackle him, they had the head clash. The guy that went to tackle him hit the deck and he just kept running his way all the way into the end zone. I was how hard is your head, man?
Some of those highlights in rugby too are insane. But that's why I can't wait to see training camp is when they actually do some hitting and when it really starts to ramp up. And,
I love how Tomlin. I heard Tomlin when he was on Ben's show. He was talking about the local park and hitting people and no pads. And I was yeah, man, no pads. It's the shit.
You think this season will be a defining season for Tomlin?
Knock him out of his thongs.
True that happens.
I think it'll be next year, man.
Yeah, right.
This year is the start of there's no more Cower players crap. I mean, there hasn't been for a few, the best part of a decade, I think, really. But this is Mike Tomlin is getting better. He's going to age like a fine wine, right? This is going to get real good now. The good whiskeys are the ones,
he's getting all the pieces together.
That's where we are now with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, he's getting all the guys together, the Pickens who he can coach, the Pickett he can coach, the Najee Harris under his wing. They like, they're.
I mean, I love the thing last year. I know it sounds gimmicky, but getting everyone the black Air Force Ones.
That was
awesome.
What
I mean?
Yeah.
Just stuff like that, man.
Najee was so excited.
It's killer. All right, buddy, we better wrap this one up. But stay tuned, everyone. More to come from the channel. We should be back at our usual Friday night time slot for those of you live in the US. Looking forward to that one. I think we've got to finish off our grading recent depth charts. I think we've got our 2020 depth chart review that we've still got. Not 2020 draft class review, not depth chart review.
It's a good one too. An instant 0 for Claypool.
But
I'm
Claypool
joking.
does get bonus points for allowing us to acquire Joey Porter Jr. So
Yes, so he probably gets about an 8 or 10. Yeah.
All right, mate. Have a good one. Have a good one in the live chat. We will speak to you soon. As always, Marky D.
Go Steelers. Here we go.